What's up, everybody? JT Sports back to you guys with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the impact players for the Dallas Cowboys going into the 2019 NFL season. So the first player that I have on this list is halfback Ezekiel Elliott. In 2018, he went to the Pro Bowl, had 1,434 rushing yards, had 6 touchdowns, and now it's 4.7 yards per carry. This year, those stats are probably going to be even better, as crazy as it sounds, because they're now getting Travis Frederick back. The offensive line is going to be fully healthy now. So I'm expecting Ezekiel Elliott to have even a better year than what he had last year. 1,500 rushing yards, probably 10 touchdowns. Don't be surprised if you see Ezekiel Elliott in the hunt for that MVP candidate in 2019. So if he's a candidate for MVP, don't be surprised because he is going to have that kind of a season next season, and he's going to get that big contract that he deserves. And I don't care if running backs don't last long in the NFL. When you have a once in a lifetime back like Ezekiel Elliott, you better pay that man because whatever you won't do, another team will. And Ezekiel Elliott, the way that this guy plays, it's like every time he gets ready to get tackled, he gets 3 extra yards. He does it in real life and he also does it in Madden, which is extremely freaking aggravating. So Ezekiel Elliott, not going to find another back like him ever in NFL history. So make sure to pay him, Dallas Cowboys. Make sure you give him his money. Next up, we have wide receiver Michael Gallup. Now, Michael Gallup in his rookie season at one point was the best Cowboys wide receiver before the arrival of Amari Cooper. He had 507 receiving yards, 33 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. And before Amari Cooper got there, to me, he was the best wide receiver they had for a couple of games. He caught a couple of touchdown passes last season. He only had two. But overall, to me, in my opinion, he was their best wide receiver. And this year, I'm expecting a big leap in production from him. Even though they do have Randall Cobb, I don't think Randall Cobb is going to do anything fantastic. I think Michael Gallup is going to be that next guy up. I think he'll have 900 receiving yards, 60 receptions, and he'll have 8 touchdowns. I think he's going to have that good of a season. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has an even better season than what I just said or predicted because this guy to me is a very good wide receiver, and he was a very underrated wide receiver going into the NFL draft in 2018. Against playing for Colorado State against Alabama, this guy absolutely lit up that Alabama defense, and that game I watched. And when I was watching that game, you know what I said in my head? Mount Gallup, he's going to be a good wide receiver in the NFL, and I'm expecting a big year out of him this season. Next up, we have Amari Cooper. He went to the Pro Bowl last year, helped turn around that Dallas Cowboys season, had 1,005 receiving yards, 75 receptions, and 7 touchdowns. Um, Before he came to the Dallas Cowboys, man, Amari Cooper was that wide receiver who never really got talked about. You almost would forget that he was in the league. Then he'll have 2 games when he'll have over 200 receiving yards, have a monster breakout game, over 200 yards, and then he'll disappear again. But then he came to the Dallas Cowboys, and then he kind of had a rejuvenation, man. And by rejuvenation, I don't mean like he's a bad wide receiver. He is an elite wide receiver, but I mean the way that he helped turn around this Dallas Cowboys season, I've never seen a wide receiver have that kind of an impact that he comes and he turns around a whole entire offense. The offense looked very better, helped out Dak Prescott a lot, and just turned around the Dallas Cowboys and helped them get to the playoffs. So he's expecting a big contract. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to give it to him. Amari Cooper, I'm expecting a big year out of him. Think about what he did in a couple of games that he played with the Dallas Cowboys. Now he's going to have a full season, a full off season now. Gonna learn the playbook a lot more. Gonna have a better grasp on it. Him and Dak Prescott are gonna have an even better connection. And Amari Cooper, I think he's gonna have an even better 2019 season than what he did in 2018. Next up, we have quarterback Dak Prescott. Now, Dak Prescott, he went to the Pro Bowl, had his career high in passing yards, 3,885, 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 67.7% of his passes he completed. Now, Dak Prescott, you can hate on him all you want, but when we compare Dak Prescott's stats of the last 4 seasons to the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL of their last 4 seasons, Dak Prescott matches up pretty well, man. Dak Prescott, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's an average quarterback. Um, he can't win you games. He's more of a quarterback who relies on he has to have a good supporting cast around him. The Dallas Cowboys have that. So as long as the Dallas Cowboys continue to have a very good offense and a very good supporting cast, Dak Prescott, man, he's going to be a very solid quarterback in the NFL. Next up, we have tight end Jason Witten. Jason Witten this offseason came out of retirement, and if you're a big fan of Monday Night Football, you are very, very happy because Jason Witten, he was not very good on ESPN Monday Night Football, and it was his first time doing it. And when you do something new, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Not everybody comes in the booth like Tony Romo and comes out just predicting plays and stuff like that. But he's back on the Dallas Cowboys. I have him on this list not because I think he's going to have a big impact on the offense stat-wise. I don't even think he's going to do that much this year. Everybody keeps on hyping him up like he's going to have come out and have a big season or whatnot. I don't think he's going to have that. I actually think this might be one of his worst seasons. I think he'll probably have 300 receiving yards. He'll probably have 40 receptions, catch about 2 or 3 touchdowns, but that's about it. The reason why I have him on this list is because his veteran leadership and his impact in the locker room. And it's always good to have good guys in the locker room, good leaders. You can never have enough good leaders in our locker room, and that's what Jason Witten is. People like playing with Jason Witten, and the impact that he's going to have on that locker room is just going to be something that raises the team's performance on the football field, and that's why I have him on this list, not for his play, but for his leadership. And leadership is a very important thing in the National Football League. Moving on to the defense side of the ball, we have defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence. Went to the Pro Bowl last year for his second consecutive season. Previous year, he had 14.5 sacks. This year, he had 10.5 sacks, 64 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. DeMarcus Lawrence is one of the best defensive ends in all of football, and it's a good thing that the Dallas Cowboys were able to get this guy signed, boy, because without him, that would be a major blow to what is a very good front seven. I think the Dallas Cowboys have one of the best front sevens in all of football. You can argue and say that they have the best front seven, but I think it's a couple of more teams that have better front sevens. But the Dallas Cowboys are up there, man. Their front seven is very good, especially their defensive line. And they remind me a lot of the Philadelphia Eagles. Them and the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot of capable defensive guys on that defensive line sitting on the bench. So they have good rotation up front. And that's one of the biggest strengths of the football team, man. And Jason Garrett, during the NFL draft interview, when they were interviewing him during the draft, he said the number one priority of the Dallas Cowboys is winning up front on the defensive and offensive side of the football. If you're able to run trenches, you're still able to win football games. And being dominant up front is a pretty important thing in the NFL. A lot of people talk about all these skill positions and whatnot, but if you win the trenches, you most likely win the game. And DeMarcus Lawrence is a very good player in the NFL, the best defensive player on the Dallas Cowboys defense, and he's going to have a monster season this year. I believe he'll going to have 15.5 sacks, and I think he'll have 15.5 sacks this year. I think that's a realistic goal. I think he's that good. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. And next up, we have defensive end Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. He's a very good addition. 38 tackles, 6.5 sacks. Not on the level as DeMarcus Lawrence, but pretty solid. Pretty solid defensive end. He's a guy who can get you 6, 7 sacks. Wouldn't be surprised this year if he has 8. And he's a very good player, man. Very underrated player in this league. Contributes. He's also pretty good stopping the run. So this is a very good addition to the Dallas Cowboys defense, and he's going to be very good on the opposite side of DeMarcus Lawrence. Next up, we have linebacker Leighton Vander Esch. Now, other than the freak linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts, Darius Leonard, Leighton Vander Esch, man, his rookie season was very, very good. And you could have made the case for him to be an all-pro as well because he had a very good season, had 140 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 pass deflections. This guy is very good, elite cover skills, sideline to sideline linebacker. You're not going to break a lot of tackles when this guy gets his hands on you. Just a very good all-around linebacker. And I think Leighton Vander-Esch, he's up and coming, man. This guy quickly, don't be surprised you see this guy creep up in the top 5 linebacker conversation this season, man. This guy is a stud. He is a star, and he proved to be a very good pick last season in the 2018 NFL Draft. Although a lot of Cowboy fans wanted them to go wide receiver, this guy proved to be a very good addition to that Dallas Cowboys defense, and we can only expect more out of him going into 2019. Next up, we have linebacker Jaylon Smith. Now, last season, Jaylon Smith had 121 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 pass deflections, two fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles. He had a very good season as well. And this guy is pretty much one of the best linebackers in the NFL. I think that's safe to say at this point. Having a couple of pretty good seasons in his hands. Jaylon Smith, man, he's a very good linebacker. Also, very good in stopping the run. He's pretty good in coverage as well. And I think he's going to have a pretty good season with Leighton Vander-Esch. And don't be surprised if he makes it to the Pro Bowl next year. I thought he should have made it to the Pro Bowl this year because he has such good of a season. But I just don't know because who you call it, Darius Leonard didn't even make it to the Pro Bowl, which was crazy. So people for some reason have a hard time figuring out who are the Pro Bowl worthy linebackers and who are not the Pro Bowl worthy linebackers, because Jaylon Smith should have been in the Pro Bowl last year. And I think this year he makes it to the Pro Bowl. Then he's going to have a good season with the Dallas Cowboys. And the last player that I have on this list is cornerback Byron Jones. Now, Byron Jones is a top 10 cornerback in the NFL. That's not up for debate anymore. This guy is a freak. We already knew he was a freak. But this guy, I never really paid attention to Byron Jones until this season is when I started seeing a lot of Byron Jones and keying in on him. And this guy is a freak, man. Good speed, good athleticism, 67 tackles, 14 pass deflections. Even though he didn't have an interception, you didn't want to throw this guy's way, man. This man's athletic ability is off the freaking chains, man. So if I was a quarterback, I wouldn't throw his way neither. So a lot of people are going to be like, he had no interception and stuff like that. How is he a top 10 cornerback? Listen, just because you don't have a top 10, just because you're a top 10 cornerback doesn't mean you always got to have a bunch of interceptions or lead the league in interceptions. It's all about what do you allow any wide receivers to score any touchdowns? And how many yards do receivers have against you? And do quarterbacks throw your way? Byron Jones is the definition of a lockdown cornerback. And I think he is a top 10 cornerback in the NFL. That's not up for debate at this point. And that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.